The cost of living keeps going up, and the cost of rent keeps going up. Much like my derriere, why does my salary remain flat? Hi, hello, my name is Emily Durham. I'm a careers coach and a careers content creator, and my goal is to help you thrive in your 9 to 5 and beyond. And if you have been here for a minute, you already know my style. I'm just gonna jump right the hell on into it. One of the first very subtle and very disturbing ways companies will in fact underpay you is by using perks to mask pay. From company pizza lunches to giving you additional days off throughout the course of the year. Many times they're giving you these additional perks and they treat it like they're doing you a favor, like they're treating you to something. And yeah, sometimes companies do it because they actually care about the wellness of their employees. But sometimes they do it 6 months before your year end so that you're feeling on a high, you're feeling like this company cares about you, like they have your best interest at heart. And then 5 months later they go, oh, by the way, we have no budget for raises. But remember that beautiful pizza, that fresh Parmesan on the pizza, that was good. You liked that, right? And this is one of those things, once you see, you can't unsee it. If you've noticed that your company is starting to do a lot of like activities, lots of little perks that aren't financial, personally, I would take that as a sign to go to your company's financial report. And if you're a publicly traded company, that typically has to be disclosed on a public platform. It's easy enough to find in Google. That report is going to tell you the health of the business, what their sales look like, their expenses, all of the things they legally have to disclose. Now, if the financial report is like bad and it concerns you, and if you're not sure if it should concern you, literally upload it into ChatGPT or Copilot and be like, hey, what does this mean? And if the results come back scary wary, this is where you have a sit-down conversation with your boss really casually. It's nothing too formal. You simply say, I was reading our financial report and I noticed that our sales are trending down. Is this something I should be worried about? And pay attention to how your boss responds. Boss might be like, whoa, I didn't know about that. That means your boss has no clue what's going on. Your boss might just be an idiot. They can't help us. If your boss immediately deflects and goes, well, no, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, blah, 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 deflection. To me, that signals we're hiding something. And the healthiest response would be your boss saying, yes, I'm aware of this. I'm not concerned because I've spoken to leadership, blah, 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 blah. Or yes, I'm aware of this. It is something we're keeping an eye on. Honesty is what we're looking for here. Because if the boat actually does start to sink, that gives us an indicator that your boss is going to keep us in the loop. Now, want to know if you're underpaid for real? Pay attention to the new hires. At most large companies, the budget for giving someone a raise, so an employee who already works there getting a raise, is budget A. External hiring a new person outside of the organization to join the team, typically has a separate budget, budget B. And while budget A and budget B are equally important and do inform each other, oftentimes there's a lot more negotiation and wiggle room when they hire externally. Side note, that's why I'm a huge believer in leaving your job every 2 to 3 years unless you're getting significant raises. But if you've noticed your company has hired a bunch of new people and they're all getting paid significantly more than you, what this is telling you is that your cost and value in the marketplace has actually gone up. Now, the tricky thing is you definitely cannot go up to the office new hire and be like, how much are you making? Fun fact, so many people share the salary ranges for jobs they're interviewing for on websites like Glassdoor. So you can actually go to Glassdoor for your company and see what the salary range is that people are posting about online. In Canada and the US, we're also seeing an increase in something called the Salary Transparency Act, which means companies actually need to post the salary ranges for the jobs they're hiring for on the careers website when they have a job posting. If you don't live in a state or a province where that is required, look up your company and see if they have a job posted with the salary range in the state that you are looking for. As both of those searches come up dry, what I would recommend doing is actually go into your AI platform of choice and ask the direct question, what is the market rate for someone in my job position with this many years of experience in this city right now? It should be able to pull aggregate data from all different resources and give you a rough idea of what you could expect if you went to the external market. Another sign that you are secretly being underpaid is that your skills keep increasing, but your salary has stayed the same. Your manager told you to go take that course. Your manager told you to go get that certification, and yet the salary is giving nothing has changed. The same can be said for a quiet promotion, a little promotion. Quiet promotion basically happens when your boss keeps low-key giving you more and more work outside of the scope of your job description, or expanding your job, changing your job, basically fundamentally shifting the work that you do so that it's harder or so that there is more of it. Oftentimes you'll hear a company say things like, it's really good exposure, it's great practice, it's great for your career development, and all of that is true in the short term. If it has been 6 months and your job has continued to expand and your wallet has remained the exact same, You're being taken advantage of. That is a sign you are being underpaid. It's controversial. I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with this one. As you know, don't care. We are obviously seeing so many companies call their employees back to work. Companies that were very happy to have us work remotely and work from home are now suddenly very passionate about getting your ass in the office 3, 4, even 5 days a week. And a lot of these companies aren't telling you this, but they are using how many times you badge into the office and whether or not you comply with the return to office mandate as part of your performance. Yes, companies are in fact quietly firing people who do not comply with this shit. It is messed up, but that is probably another video. But baby, if you were hired to be an entirely remote employee and you were paid a certain amount of money and you signed that job offer knowing I don't have to pay to commute to work, companies coming back to you and now calling all of our asses back into the office, in my humble opinion, leaves us underpaid. This last one grinds my gears. This last one pisses me the hell off. Sometimes companies will give you a raise that doesn't match your performance and output. If you are a high-level performer and your performance review at the end of the year is always something like exceptional, trajectory changing, then why is your annual salary increase incredibly average? Because employers feel like as long as they give you a raise, even if it is just like a couple of crumbs in a pizza lunch, they're like, well, you got a raise, babe. Well, a raise doesn't mean it actually changed my lifestyle and is rewarding me for the work that I am doing and is continuing to keeping me motivated. If any of these apply to you, this is exactly how you're going to ask for a raise, specifically in 2025, because this shit is not what it used to be. First of all, get it out of your head that you shouldn't be asking for a raise. You need to leave that fucking imposter syndrome at the door. Remember that the worst thing this company can do is say no. You ask for a raise, the worst thing they can do is say no and nothing changes. As long as you go about it the right way, you are not going to damage your relationship with your employer. If anything, you're giving them an opportunity to help you stick around a little bit longer. Here's the thing, when you're asking for a raise at a company, you don't have as much leverage and buying power as if you're negotiating for a new job offer at a new company. So people telling you online to just go to your boss and say, this is the number that I want, make it happen, like that is not good advice. That's legit how you're just gonna end up burning a bridge. The best way to negotiate for a company you already work at is to disarm with a question. So if you've clocked that any of these signs you're underpaid have applied to you or you haven't gotten a raise in the last year, book a 15-minute catch-up with your boss. A lot of people panic about what to title these in your calendar. Just write performance check-in. Literally in that meeting, sit down with your boss and say something like this. Thanks so much for meeting with me. I hope this wasn't too random throwing this in the calendar, but I just wanted to connect about how you're feeling about my performance overall. Obviously, I've been loving the work that I do. I've been really excited about some of the results that I've driven from a sales perspective, but I just wanted to get a sense about how you're thinking I'm trending from a performance point of view. And you might hear that and say, well, Emily, we're talking performance, not money. Yeah, babe, they're not going to give you a raise if you're not doing a good job. That's just the truth. Let your boss respond. Let them be like, yeah, you did well. Here are some things we can work on, blah, blah, blah. There's your answer. Super important to note that if your company has a formal performance review season or a specific time of year where they issue raises, you need to be having this conversation at least 4 months in advance of that time frame. But to be honest, the second you realize that you think there is a salary issue, have the conversation immediately and let your boss kind of help navigate the way from a timing perspective. Or your boss is going to say one of a couple things. Sorry, we don't have budget right now, but like, you've got a lot of opportunity to grow here. I think you're going to keep growing. I think you're going to blah, blah, blah. They're giving you the runaround. You're never seeing a raise, my love. They might say, yeah, sure, let me go back to the leadership team in finance and see what I can do. And the most realistic thing they're going to ask is, yeah, do you mind if I ask kind of what you're looking for? And this is where that market research that I talked about in the beginning of the video is so helpful, because it just gives you an idea of what is market average. If I'm you, your answer is probably going to vary based on your specific scenario. In benchmarking myself externally, I noticed that the salary range for my position or similar is somewhere between $70,000 to $75,000. So I just wanted to know if there's a chance to get closer to be market competitive. If your job has changed, you've gotten a quiet promotion. I'm really excited that my mandate has continued to expand. When I look at the salary range for kind of how my job has evolved and what I imagine my evolved job title will be, it looks like the salary range is somewhere between 70 to 75. Is there anything we can do to get there? And then you leverage the most powerful negotiation tool in the world. You shut the fuck up. The worst thing you can do when you negotiate is try to sell your boss. Please see my value. I hope you like what I do. Isn't this good? Because I'm really good at this. No. You show up to work, and how you show up to work every day is you communicating your value. That's why it's so important to show up and follow all of these corporate survival tips that I'm telling you, because every day is you building a case towards why you are so significant and deserve to be paid well. Because also nothing screams insecurity, junior, not being strong at your job, like begging your boss. Ask the question, you sit there quietly and you see what you're going to do. And most importantly, you timestamp it. So if your boss says, okay, I'll check, say, okay, great. 2 weeks later, you follow up and ask. If you're getting dicked around for 6 months or more, you're never getting paid by these people. And now it's on you to decide if you're willing to stay. There are very few things in this life that I do not play about. I don't play about the reality TV universe, specifically The Real Housewives. I don't play about getting my nails done bi-weekly. And most especially, I do not play about my money, because I could sit here and yap with you all day. If you have questions, topics you want me to cover, literally whatever, pop it in the comments down below. I hope this lighting wasn't distracting. I never filmed this early in the day, but I woke up, I was already on air, so I was like, let me just give you a little bit of something. But thank y'all for listening. I love you muchly.